how can leaders help empower those already in the industry? And as a follow-up question, are there any leaders that you've been working with that are doing a great example of this?
We, the first step is recognizing that everybody is a leader in some capacity. A leader is somebody that influences others. So if you're a parent, you're a leader. If you're on a crew, construction crew, you're a leader. If you don't have to be the chief executive, the vice president, the division, manager, whatever it is, everybody is a leader. So that's one, everybody is in a leadership position. Two, leadership is a skill. It's not, there isn't the leadership fairy just bopping people on the head when they're children and, oh, yep, you'll become president, you'll do this, you'll do that, but all you others are screwed. It's a learned skill. Some inherently have a little bit more than others, but everybody's capable of learning it. And so what I've done first and foremost is I've just learned how to lead more effectively so that I have the skill set I need to help those around me. And if the way I put it, I heard Jordan Peterson talk about this, and everything I talk about is not my idea. I just pull everything from everything else. I'm not all that smart. Jordan Peterson said, hey, if everybody just did their dishes, if everybody just took care of their household, society would start to repair itself overnight. And so my question for contractors, no matter what position they're in, no matter if people in the construction industry, whether they're a laborer, whether they're an operator, a foreman, a vice president, the owner of a company, how can you do your dishes? How can you care for your people more? How can you train them to not just be more effective on the job site, but better in life? Have you asked them what they're struggling with? Do you trust them? There's just simple things that we all can do. And if every company does those things, if I'm a laborer and I ask myself, how can I serve those around me? How can I make life better for everybody around me? If everybody just did that, things would start to repair themselves overnight.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Do you think that do you think that this is a challenge? Are leaders not getting the leadership training that they need within this industry?
We have an industry of managers. I think there's a lot of managers. There's not a lot of leaders. And no matter what position you're in, you are better off becoming a leader. You will have an amazing life if you learn how to lead effectively. And the first book I read on this was Jocko, Extreme Ownership. I just started to recognize that everything was my responsibility and I'm the leader of my life. Once you start to take ownership of your life, everything changes. And what's happening now is I see this a lot. So you have retirements happening. The retirements are typically a lot of times like at the foreman level, superintendent level. So you'll have a grading crew. The foreman will retire, leave. You then naturally survey your grading crew, who's your top performer, elevate them to foreman. Foreman, that's a totally different skill set than running a trackhoe. Totally different skill set. You're leading people, but you just assume that they'll effectively do that because they can effectively run a trackhoe and load trucks and manage a dirt spread. But that's a different job. And yet, so then what do? Well, they don't have the leadership skills. So they default to however they've been managed coming up, which is probably the wrong way to do it. Now, everybody beneath them is either run off the job or is unproductive because they're just going to rebel against the poor management practice. And then you're looking at what used to be your top performer like, what happened? But they were set up for failure from the beginning. So I think it's largely missing, but to answer your question earlier, there are companies that are doing great work. I think a company like Hoopla is one that comes to mind very quickly. Sargent Corporation, Emery Sapp and Sons, Goodfellow Brothers, Rummel. I mean, there's a lot of amazing companies out there that we get to see every day that I think have a great thing going. They're not perfect by any means. Our company's not perfect. No company's perfect, but they're trending in the right direction.
I was going to head another direction, but before that, the I used to see this all the time. I've seen it all through my career, that everyone's looking for that next step, and this idea of becoming a manager is always like the next step. Like in my landscaping business, everyone wanted to be a manager, and then the next thing, for no reason other than hearing that it's a next step, I want an office job. I want to get out of the field and get into the office. But it's almost like we aren't communicating what these roles are, and tons and tons and tons of opportunity within these roles. But some people may not love working with calculators all day and estimating, right?
No.
They might absolutely love being in the field and being a really, really, really great tradesperson. It's not just about management.
The mistake human beings make is we think people think like us. So the people in the office think everybody wants to do what they did, and that climb up the ladder and elevate their career in that more vertical direction, not horizontal direction. But
right.
You can't go build a whole company with those people. And if you look at a construction company, you have a small percentage operating the business. Everything else below that's what's required to run. So you can't have everybody going to the vice president level. You can't have a company it just doesn't work, and not everybody wants to be there. But now you have to ask yourself, how can I help my people grow that don't want to be going vertically, but maybe horizontally? Maybe they want to go see a different part of the business. Maybe they want to help us start into a new market or do something a little bit different. You just have to first have the conversation with these people. I think so often we just assume, they either want to do what we do, or they're just a track operator, they're just a haul truck driver. And we never have those conversations of where do you want to go? So then you have this haul truck driver that doesn't necessarily want to be the boss, but they're frustrated because they feel like they're stagnant and they're not growing. But we haven't had that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, right.